what? Like, damn.
Why does it feel like every time I have you on a panel today, you're going down a trip down memory lane?
Because there's a lot of bad memories.
Well, I must say, where are the good memories, Kyle?
Yeah, I thought you had a great time.
The times I get to spend with my friends that I used to have.
Now you've got us, Kyle. Okay.
Yeah. Do I, though, Gods? I haven't been at a summit in a long time. You've thrown 4 events, Gods.
All right, guys,
I
so
don't
we
know what
can
you're
talk
talking
politics some other
That's not
time.
me.
You can grill him about that. Let's talk Dota. Let's talk Virtus.pro and Gambit. We're in the draft, and we have the first phase bans already. And, we have a little bit of a change-up. Because Oracle's still in the pool, Snapfire's still in the pool. Which heroes am I missing? I feel like I'm missing some heroes.
Maybe?
Enchantress still in the pool as well.
Batrider was banned.
Yeah, and as said, we didn't really see Virtus.pro play that often, but they have been really liking the Treant. So we talked about Virtus.pro in the drama sense, but in the just team composition sense, they did change 2 players. They're playing with Kuman because GPK benched, and they're playing with Zayach as their new addition since the major. Major, you might remember, they were the ones coming back from a 60k lead, and they were the ones not ending the game then as well. Against Team Liquid that time. So they ended last at the major, and they weren't even in the Chengdu major at all. It was actually Gambit that represented CIS in the Chengdu major, and Gambit that came last at that one. But this iteration of Virtus.pro seems a lot stronger. They seem to do a lot better than what they did before.
I think they also have the benefit of time, right? I'm really close with Resolution. I know he had a really rocky transition to the offlane, because that entire hero pool was new to him, right? So the style of the offlane has also changed a bit. So it went from like these, like, now you're brawling, previously like you're pulling creep waves, now there's stuff like perhaps like the Enigma coming meta. So he does a lot better on cores like Enchantress because they're like traditional heroes for him in a way, and you lane in a traditional manner. Heroes like Darkseer, Tidehunter, these require a little more practice to then just plug and play.
You need the offlane specialist to do the weird stuff that some of those heroes require. So yeah, I think he's getting better. I'm still not sold on him as an offlaner.
Neither am I. I tell him that, and he says, yeah, me too.
But you get to play with solo and no one, so he's not going to turn it down, maybe.
Hey, mate, as long as he's not replaced, you know he's doing something right. That's how things like that work. He's got to keep trying. It's not like he is not the type of player that's just going to give up or anything like that. So he's going to keep working. He is a hard-working player, if nothing else, and he will continue to improve.
He has one of the best attitudes as well of a player. I'm a bit biased, of course, because I am his friend, but he's done a lot of personal growth. I feel like a lot of people forget. I forget sometimes about the age of a lot of these guys. Like Rezo is still like, what, 22, 23? I've forgotten. There you go. And then there's other players like Insania who, because I played with and against him, 8, 9 years ago, I still see him as like, the 17-year-old kid. In reality, it's like he's an adult. It's weird. He's got facial hair.
How did it came to Insania? What point are you trying to make?
Oh, Resolution's just young. He was young, all right? He became a superstar overnight. He had to iron out some stuff. His English also improved drastically.
That was a crazy transformation.
Playing on these Western teams, kind of really opened that up a lot.
Yeah, and you know why he initially started learning English, right?
To play Dota.
He didn't want to play in a CIS.
He wanted to play in a puppy squad.
Oh.
So he's like, if you want to be in a puppy squad, you're going to be, internationally covered. So he's like, I'm going to learn English so that I can get to be on a team.
That's what I mean.
How, like that was
he learned a language to pursue the career. Like, come on, that's a man with dedication. I'll never forget. It's crazy how things might have been different, but at TI5, he had approached me to come play because he wanted to come into NA, and we had set up a meeting, and we had miscommunicated or something, never actually met, and then nothing came of it, and we ended up with not Resolution, so we lost.
Who did you have instead?
I don't want to. I was way too sexy and MJW.
Those are names that like 95% of our viewers are just like, what?
What?
Who?
Yeah.
we went through a phase. Well, I still think like no matter what happens the rest of my life, man, made it to TI5. That was a shit show. 44 different players over a 5-month period. We had BSJ and IX Mike poached from our team.
Oh no.
Like, think about that. Think about that.
That was my first thought. I was like, all right, I thought that the punchline was going to be you had them on your team.
We did well, and they didn't think we were good enough. No, sorry, it was no. IX Mike said in a few years we might be good, and he didn't want to play with us. And then he made a team, and BSJ was playing with us, and IX Mike poached BSJ, and he picked IX Mike and Jimmy.
Yeah. There was a time where BSJ was that next big star of NA. Like not even making any jokes about him. He was looking like the next big star.
True.
February 2015.
Okay.
Sumail won the North American NEL. You know who won in March? And he was then picked up by EG. BSJ won in March.
There you go.
Did he end up getting picked up by anything else?
His ego grew significantly.
He was playing on
Unfortunately,
Summer's Rift, remember, with Jimmy? Oh, they were top 2, top 3 NA team at one point, maybe.
All right,
Not
guys.
for long.
I am enjoying the trip down memory lane for sure. I'm also enjoying the draft. We have seen Gambit have the Rubik Witch Doctor combination before FNG, but that was one of the games that they weren't really tested. So I'm curious how Virtus.pro is going to react to this. Because they played this against Bait with the Pango as well. They had Pango and Shaklo that time. It was a Ricky as well. Ricky is banned. But this is a very familiar draft for them.
Yep. And VP would have watched those games, so they kind of know what's coming. They have seen how the Witch Doctor plays. Very good hero against the Enchantress with how Death Ward works. Doesn't care about the Untouchable. Very strong laner with that second point in Maledict at level 3. You just suddenly get a ton of kill potential. So I think it's okay Gambit to stick with this because the way it looked when they ran it, it seemed incredibly solid.
They also, for Virtus.pro, they played Doom yesterday. That was the only game they lost yesterday. They played Doom mid. It was no one playing Doom. Is that something that you think they're gonna do again?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Never know.
They never know. I guess Rezo can play it too, so it's fine.
It's flex. It can even be a support.
Yes.
VP have run as a 5 even. It's one of those heroes that solo will randomly play when he feels like it suits the game.
You know what? Yeah, we were asking if the crowd was going to be backing Virtus.pro with the recent drama, being the bad guy, and the Virtus.pro chants have just begun. So I think we got our answer.
Hey, they're bad, not evil, though. They could be EG.
Centaur already revealing early that this Doom is not an offlaner because you want Centaur to be that offlaner.
Who are they louder for, Gambit or VP?
VP.
VP? Not surprised.
I mean, VP has been the household name in CIS Dota for the last 3 years, basically.
Yeah.
They've been holding it up since Navi's decline.
Took the torch straight from Navi, and it's curious to see who will be the ones to take it up, because the whole scene really has faltered. Like, VP really propped up the scene. Without them on top, it just seems like a much weaker region.
Yeah.
Then you've got Europe.
We could be entering an era where there's multiple strong CIS teams, because VP were propping it up, but the second best CIS team over the last couple of years, I mean, it kind of fluctuated between Gambit, Navi, Empire, etc. They were never competitive. I don't think there was like a major where a second CIS team ever got top 8.
That's true. I think, you are correct.
And that is a really cool snap pick. Morphling from VP. It is a comfort hero. It is an incredible matchup here, and you've got a Doom Centaur in front of it. It's just really sick here. Hard counter to Lifestealer. I think VP certainly took the lead.
Comfort hero for Ramses, right?
Yes. Well, they're... Shit. I answered yes because, yes, it is for Ramses, but I know Ramses isn't playing for VP. Who is it a comfort hero for? Gods, who's playing carry for VP?
Kuman?
You sure?
I don't know if I actually don't know if it's a comfort hero for Kuman. That's why I'm asking you, because I'm like, is it a comfort hero for Kuman?
It's Morphling. If you're a carry player and you can't play, Blitz can play
but
Morphling.
is it a comfort hero? Is it like his bread and butter?
I don't know if that's actually his hero pool. I'm being totally honest.
It might not be bread and butter. It's at least cereal. It's close.
Yes, that's not the question, though. The question is, but
so when you said it was a comfort hero for VP, you were just talking out of your ass, Kyle, just to clarify.
No, it's Morphling. It's VP. It's one of their most picked carry heroes.
Yeah, when they have Ramses.
It's solo and no one still. It's the same people, and no one could play at mid. He's done it before.
That is
comfort
true.
hero
Coming at me.
When no one played Morph, it was not one of the best Virtus.pro's results, by the way. Just pointing that out there as well. We got a final ban. It is a Zayach Treant that gets removed on the side of Gambit, and a Queen of Pain ban into a Razor pick for Virtus.pro.
Yep, there's another counter to the Lifestealer. Excellent matchups in lane as well. And if you look at the way a team fight's going to play out from VP, right? You've got Centaur to both engage or disengage. Razor links with Lifestealer, and someone gets doomed. Now what? Their team fight is unbelievable right now. Lane's quite strong as well.
Yeah. The lifesteal does a tiny bit better against Razor these days. I feel you get all these proc items so you can still do stuff while you have no damage. You got the Maelstrom, you get the Basher. You're not totally useless, but it's not great.
So what does Gambit need to solve the problems that Virtus.pro has thrown at them?
A mid that does damage? Since lifesteal, you can't rely on this lifesteal to do damage in these fights.
Is a Mars
Is it
an answer?
Pango, maybe? Is Pango versus Razor
I mean,
a matchup? Perhaps you can just swashbuckle away
yeah,
with static links.
That's a mid-Mars. That's the CIS special.
Okay.
I almost guarantee it. And I love the hero. It's similar in a lot of ways to old Tiny Mid, how that used to be played. You just kill, strong laner, you kill stuff. Same idea. You put down the ring. Its only weakness, of course, is that you don't have anything against BKBs, and you really don't now, because Mars is completely worthless. You just run straight out of the arena. What's up?
Mars will be played by Shaklo, and FN will be the Pango.
As I was saying, the Pango mid matchup versus the Razor. Running Mars mid versus Razor, Kyle, probably not a good idea.
That's a good point.
But that's also why you ended up in wildcards at TI not getting any prize money. So, you know.
That's true.
We're all coming full circle here.
Yeah, a good one.
Do you need anybody else, like any other heroes that you're curious about who's playing what? Because I got some info for you if you do.
Sure.
Yep.
It will be Rezo on the center, Zayach Doom.
Oh, yeah.
So no one Doom,
So
no one will
5
be the
position
Razor, but I guess with the
Enchantress?
Razor
Okay.
pickup, we already knew that. Solo Enchantress, 5 Enchantress. The rest is as you would expect it to be. That does lead me to one final question. What is important for this game? We're thinking, the way that you guys were talking about the draft, you're giving Virtus.pro the edge from the get-go. But what does Gambit need to do in order to have a good game here?
They've got to beat the BKB timings and get a distinct advantage before the Razors and Morphling come online. In addition, take good fights around the arena and ensure Lifestealer gets off to a really good start. You need Lifestealer to be an item ahead of Morph. If he ever catches up or surpasses him once they hit like 20-25k net worth, it's real rough.
Anything to add?
I also want to see like more of what we had in the last series from FN. He was the stand-up player.
Yeah.
He's playing this mid Pango. That's a hero that can get very active, make a lot of rotations around the map. Look to FN to win this game for Gambit if they do in fact win it.
All right, let's find out what's going to happen in the first game of the series with ODPixel and Lizard.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, quite an exciting one to end the day off, of course. The CIS showdown, Gambit versus Virtus.pro. I'm ODPixel, joined by Lizard for this this great series ahead of us. We've had a few sort of one-sided stomps, some sort of off games so far today, but surely this series is going to deliver.
I'm pretty sure this series should be the longest one of the day, maybe even go all the 3-game stretch, because not only do we have two teams that are similarly matched in skill, there's so much drama as well involved, right? There's that spiciness, and they have so much energy to play each other.
And we saw, on stage, they kept it all very cool, very nice. There were smiles, there were handshakes, but both of these teams are going to try the hardest to beat the other. There's a lot to sort of be said here for who's able to prove themselves the best on sort of a LAN. So we saw it on like qualifiers, groups. This is them on the main stage and ready to go head-to-head in a best-of-3.
Yeah, I suspect Virtus.pro might use some hashtag free GPK if they win and just spam it. But what do you think about these drafts? So far, I feel that both of these teams, they have like some good winning potential and winning scenarios, right? On one side, you have the Nikes and FN on his Pango. They've done fairly well. But on the other hand, you're playing into your counters, aren't you? You're playing Morphling versus Nikes. That's not good for Nikes. And you're playing Razor versus Pango mid.
No.
Yeah, you can swashbuckle away, but it's not a great lane.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree. I'm looking at them more for the Razor, and I'm feeling that down the line, if these heroes don't get crushed early on, they're just going to be able to outcarry the cause of Gambit. Gambit's got to make sure that they have that edge early on. They are going to hit their timings at a better pace, I feel. You sort of look towards this Pango. If he's able to start moving around with his first offensive item, FN is able to make those sort of plays, as the panel says. you know, Gambit can start to roll over them. But if this game gets to any sort of passive territory, if VP come out of the lanes in a strong position, you're right. This Morph Razor, it's going to be hot going into the later portion of the game.
One good thing that Gambit have done in the drafting stage is this Mars versus the Centaur. It's considered one of the better heroes versus him. Shachlo can definitely play a mean Mars. So perhaps if this lane goes well for them, they stand a chance. But for me, it's looking like a rough matchup overall.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how well he is able to play this lane against the Morph. I feel that the Mars should have that edge, right, in the lane. You're this very sort of strong hero. Anytime Morph steps up, there is that threat of being nuked pretty heavily by the two of them, even with the Fade-Bot and such, and especially if Shashlo's ever able to get that angle, catch Kuman out before he shifts. Killing it does feel hard because the Morph should most of the time be able to react. Maybe once like the level 2's there, Vampire can try and get in, set up with a telekinesis from the tree line, and that's followed up by a spear, giving no chance for the shift to start on the Morph. But we'll see. Gambit's definitely got that synergy, that ability to make plays on the Morph. If anything, you're just going to expect to see Kuman never get too heavily shifted into Agi. He's going to make sure he's got a decent amount of strength so he doesn't get burst by that combo in lane.
I think Zayat as well, we saw him right now on that Doom. He ate a lot of damage from the Maledict, but he has a lot of regen from level 2, and also he ate the Wolf. This guy found a really good creep. I think some Doom players might prefer the Ogre Frost Mage for that armor, but man, Zayat, he's so aggressive, and if he finds that Wolf, he's going to be rotating across the map, making a lot of moves, and he starts with boots as well, as you can see, not your usual, a lot of regen on your position for Doom. He really wants to get in there, wants to dive.
Yeah, I like it. You consider how we saw Zayat's play yesterday. He had some amazing movements during the laning stages in Game 1 and Game 3 of their series against, I believe it was Nigma. Yeah, Nigma in that series, of course. Playing his disruptors, his shakers. Heroes, I'd say, probably a little easier to sort of have that impact in the lanes, but you're right. With the right sort of auras he has, he can certainly pack quite a punch and keep Gambit on their toes, depending on where he wants to head in the laning stage of this game.
I would expect something like Phase Boots drums on him, Phase Boots buckler. I think you get a lot of armor on this Doom, and suddenly you can dive the tower. Those two chainmails are really amazing on this hero. Now again, there is a Nyx versus Centaur, and that's Nyx's favorite lane. So because of that, he's having a few CSs more, but it still is an offlane Centaur, and Rezo is fine with that. Yeah,
pretty much lanes going even just the mid lane where there's that edge for the Razor as you expected, right? Sure, it's easy to say the Swashbuckle, he can break the link, but Razor, he's still such a strong laner in these 1v1s, you are going to be able to come out on top, even though there's that mechanic for FN to play around with.
That was a good play. Did you see that? He uses the Divine Protection on the creeps, and now FN, even though he used Swashbuckle, he didn't get that range creep, and then because of that usage of Swashbuckle, he can't approach the lane any longer, so a lot of denies go the way of no one.
Yeah, he's playing the lane very nicely, no one, and I mean, yesterday we saw him play the lane spectacularly in those mid matchups against Weeha. He was consistently sort of coming out on top in these 1v1s. Anytime you put him on this hero where there is that capability to have that edge, he's gonna execute it. He's getting himself really back on that top form that we've seen from no one in the previous VP past.
Yeah. I mean, it's no one after all. It's been ages since whatever mid laner you ask who you don't want to play against, they will definitely mention no one. Solo?
And try and burst him down, not quite enough fire in the tank between the two of them to get the kill. He will be fine. And in this lane continues to be a bit of a trade farm. Shashlo 25 for 5, but there's 23 for 1 on Kuman. It's still great farm for the Morph early on. Mid lane, you see no one posturing very aggressively, getting behind the tower, really forcing FN back, making sure that some creeps are lost to the tower, and FN is entirely out of XP range. So Noan, he's playing beautifully aggressive in this matchup.
And he maxed out the nuke, right? Dream? Let's just see this. Yeah, he should be fine. He maxed out the nuke, and because of that, he just dives the tower, does not even use the link, forces FN completely out of that experience range.
Dream will be able to push him away from the bounty rune, so VP won't be able to claim the two on that top half, and Gambit are at least able to grab that one for themselves.
I think overall the laning stage right now has been all right for Gambit. They haven't lost it at all. They're winning when it comes to net worth. I think this Mars did quite all right, but FN is their shining star so far.
Yeah, we've got to see what he can do, because he's not at a, it's been a tough lane for him, as expected, because of the matchup, but he's still
got
getting something.
Yeah,
And he can still make plays. He hits that 6, he starts moving around the map, he gets sort of that first time, whether it be the javelin that he wants to rush, and you have a lot of killing potential and a lot of ways to really keep the pressure on these heroes like Morphling, who are going to need time before they become scary themselves.
My only question is, you are on a timer, right? You don't want to really go late game versus a Morph.
Not at all.
And how do you take these objectives early on? Maybe with a rotation like this one.
Let's see if they can burst him down. They've got the Maledict, and with the Swashbuckle should easily be enough damage to take down no one. Bringing in the supports. FNG may go down for it. In fact, no one. Oh, he'll take that. 1 versus 3. He claims the first blood. He does die, but he takes the lion's share of the gold there. As you can see, 325 for that first blood going the way of no one. So, yeah, a successful gag, not really
not
for
really,
Gambit.
yeah.
They get a kill, but they give up first blood. No one's fine with it. It gets a free lane reset as well.
Free lane reset, 325 gold.
Yeah.
That's more than they got for that kill, and it was 3 of them. Mars might fall, however, on that other lane as well.
I do. I mean, I've got to be honest, this is not great for Gambit. It's sure the numbers are even, but as we say, with these drafts, with the course that VP have, they're going to be pretty happy. If they can do this the second time, this would be pretty nice. They're going to have TP backup coming in, but is there really any sort of help that can be there for no one? There is not. He will fall, and now FN, he can roll over and look for a second kill as he's straight over to Zayas, picks that up as well. Gambit this time, it's clean. 2 kills, no casualties on their half. FN, he's the man you've got to watch. He's the one that's going to be setting the tempo for Gambit and starting to amp it up and make sure that VP's playing on the back foot.
And it's so good that they get 2 kills successively on that Razor, because you talked about that earlier. It is that Razor that's supposed to be carrying this team throughout the mid-game, right? It's not Morphling that's about to join these fights around 10 to 15-minute mark. It's no one that's supposed to be just rallying the forces around him, pushing for objectives, creating space. And if you take him down a couple of times like this, you definitely make him a much weaker foe in the mid game.
We'll see down bottom if, once the 6 is online, it's still very hard to really make plays, at least on the Morph alone for Shashlo. Obviously, other heroes very much vulnerable. Solo's got to be careful. If Shashlo wants to step up with the arena and just take a kill, he'll be able to kill the Ench, no problems at all, especially with the backup of Excess Vampire. Still very much the Morph that's going to require an additional rotation if they want to try and knock Kuman off his game early. It's going to need to sort of see FN head over. FN,
instantly.
Exactly. He notices no one's coming in with a haste rune and knows that there's no chance of escaping that. So back to base he goes.
You talked about this bottom lane. I don't think they have any chances of killing Morph.
No.
Unless they have some really big rotations happening here. Perhaps another additional core or some level 6. Oh, no one, however.
He's coming in with the wraparound. Shashlo's getting a little bit low. There's straight up the nuke from Kuman. Dives under the tower, gets the kill.
You could see no one. As soon as he forces that TP from FN, he just continues going bottom.
Yeah,
wraps around them, gets a good kill.
Yeah, very smart. Because he knows that mid's TP back to base, there's no way that FN can come in and react to my sort of moves. So rather than sort of going for what a lot of mid laners would have done, I feel like, you force the enemy mid out the lane, you're like, okay, I'm just going to farm mid now, it's safe. No one knows his presence elsewhere on the map is going to be much more impactful for his team.
And it's so impactful as well as they get down that Mars. They also free up that lane much more for the Morphling. I said before though, Kuman, if he's playing this game right, after you can see 2 Braid Bands, Magic Wand, Raindrop. He is a very difficult kill. They don't have enough cash for him.
Yeah, and it's even if you sort of bring your carry, Gambit, if they bring the Lifestealer down here, it's not really enough to kill a Morphling. Lifestealer, it'll be interesting to see how Dream's able to sort of get his game going in the mid-game. Of course, his farm is fine. You can see top net worth, him and FN, they're up there, holding the lead. But the question is, what can Gambit do with it? They have to team up. Dream and FN, you're going to sort of see these Rolling Thunder plays into jumping out from the Infest and killing off a target. That's the way that they've got to put that pressure on VP and not give VP the chance to keep this game open, push it on late, and allow Kuman to reach maximum potential.
They're just playing around the shrines right now. Rezo might have overdone it here, but he has Stampede.
Yeah, and he's also got backup by his side. Kuman's actually shifted over to this half of the map. I mean, he knows, he can farm aggressively in the face of the Lifestealer. This is not a lane that threatens him at all. Dream, he's straight out of there. Actually, TP's out of this area, straight down to bottom. Knows that contesting a Morph in lane is not something he wants to be doing this early on. Top, they will try and make a move on to Kuman. FN leads him with a Swashbuckle. The bounces are out a couple of times, but he's already shifting into strength. He's got the waveform. Rolling Thunder's coming out. They do have the additional control. Is it going to be anywhere near close enough to kill him, though? The Maledict will continue to tick him down low. There's little bit of backup here. Kuman pops the stick. He will get killed off. A very tough kill for Gambit to pull off, but they do it. They knock Kuman out of the game.
Enchantress, one of the fastest heroes in the game. If that spear didn't connect, Solo would have definitely gotten him. But yeah, they get the big kill. They kill off Kuman. I was just praising how he's super difficult to kill at the moment, but they find all the right spells that they needed, and there was absolutely no backup.
Yeah, very nicely done. They knew that VP couldn't bring TP back up in to help, and they also knew that Resolution had obviously just been forced to use Stampede, so there wasn't that defensive maneuver available to get Kuman back to safety. In Gambit, they punish it.
Dream is going for a good build here as well. Maelstrom first. Sometimes we see some Nyxes just rush it instantly, but if you go for phase boots, it's a little bit easier to zone Rezo out of the lane. And also, once you get that Maelstrom, you will farm well.
Well, here we have a good bit of setup. Shashlo straight in with the spear. They're looking to burst Resolution down low. Pop the stick charges. Dream's in trouble. Jumps into the creep. Infests up. He tries to heal up, but he's in trouble as Zayats drops down the Doom. They kill off the Nakes, and now they look for more. Shashlo and FNG, can they turn this? There's the Maledict, the Death Ward down. FNG is going to be able to make Zayats pop by the looks of it. Now the rotation in as well from Vampire with the stolen plasma field, nuking them down. Finally, the kill on Zayats. He does tick out to the Maledict. FN's now had time to turn up, and he's going to go straight for no one. Over he goes with the Rolling Thunder, another bounce back. They're surrounding him. Shashlo's looking to line up the spear. Straight into the cliff he goes. Jump forward with the shield crash. They'll burst down no one. They'll take another. It's the 3 for 3 at the moment in this engagement. Is there going to be any more? Solo, can he get Vampire in time? He can. Solo with the cleanup. The triple kill, Ench support. Man. He gets the job done and makes sure the VP do come out slightly on top of that.
So he's a kind of a position 5 that really likes to be playing on these heroes that have the capability of scaling and becoming a core, you know?
Yeah.
Even though he's 5, he just got 1,000 gold. He instantly spends it.
Look at the XP. He's pretty much level 9. And the other cores like Dream on his Lifestealer, Resolution on his Sender, you know, these cores are level 8.
Yep.
He's just bumped right up there in the world, Solo, managing to sort of clean up those kills, get that Solo XP as the rest of his team are already dead. And as you say, this is not a bad hero. It's not like, oh, well, it's a little scary. I mean, this is a hero that really can transition to sort of having some sort of comparable core impact. It does a lot of damage.
It does a lot of damage, but at the same time, it's not the best Enchantress game. You have Maledict, you have Death Ward that you have to worry about, Nyx with his Rage, also there is Mars with the Arena, obviously, so you won't be able to deal the damage inside of it. Not the best hero to get all the kills and all that experience we talked about, because you'd much rather see that on no one if he lived through the fight, right?
Ideally, you want it on your carry in the mid.
It's still all right.
But I mean,
he feels good.
So, I was going to say, Solo's not complaining. He's like, right, boys, step aside. It's time for me to come through. And a few spronks here and a few spronks there.
What do you think about the Aghanims, by the way, about Sproink?
I don't think I've ever seen it being built.
I built it.
You did, and...
awful. It's so
what is
bad.
it? You just sproink backwards?
Yeah, it's just sproink backwards. And you know, like, if you can imagine sproink, that's exactly what you do in the game. You literally move an inch. You don't... It's like half a force staff. It's so bad.
Well, maybe, you know, if we see some sort of 80-minute game, you know, Roshan being killed 6 times, Aghanims being dropped, then maybe. Maybe one day we will see the Ench Aghanims in a pro game, but no, definitely one of those Ags that you sort of forget exist, as it's just never ever built. Top lane Shashlos laying down the arena. Resolution and Zayats will quickly just turn. Zayats does have the Doom available if he wants to drop it down for this one, as they'll surround him. In fact, Zayats, he's got more in his mind. He's actually running down FNG as well, knowing that he can leave Shashlo to be killed off by Rezo and Solo. Now FN turns up, but there's the Doom straight down. He needs help, and he's going to get it, because the lift up's there as well as the Death Ward. FNG, again, finding these opportunities to line up the ult and kill off the heroes and make sure the space is there for FN to back off safely, and the Doom will not result on a kill on the mid.
If you're watching that whole engagement from some, I don't know, maybe a lower skill perspective, and you're seeing that...
Oh, that sounds like me, yeah.
No, just zoning them away. It might look that way, but he had to be on Witch Doctor there. He couldn't help. First and foremost, they went on the Centaur. The reason why they didn't kill him is because even though they dropped the Maledict, Doom zoned the Witch Doctor away. Witch Doctor cannot commit the Death Ward, right? But then on, he knows that the cask is off cooldown again, and he can't commit onto the Mars. So he chases Witch Doctor instead. Then Pango goes in a bit too deep, Doom gets baited, he dooms the Pango, and Witch Doctor finally has his opportunity to use that cast Maledict and Death Ward again.
Yeah, interesting here to see the vision here from both teams. You saw sort of from Radiant's perspective from VP, they do see people showing in their jungle and top and mid and bottom, whereas for Gambit, they only see a hero showing up top at the moment. They didn't see any of the activity mid or bottom, but still though, they were able to move in. They were able to predict whereabouts they're hanging around VP, and they'll go straight for Solo. Solo did get the heal off, so we'll be able to counteract some of the damage from Maledict, and in fact, he will be fine. Now it looks like Gambit are deciding they've got to get out of it. VP's been given time to TP in, backups inbound, unless they can find a good arena opportunity.
They have some good
Shashlo,
wards.
he wants to drop the ult here, see who he can catch out. He's heading straight for no one. Will manage to catch him, but no, the dodge is there. The Yule Scepter is complete, so no one, he can break that combo, avoid it. A stolen Doom is thrown down by Vampire onto no one, but no one is tanky enough that he can wait it out, back off. And in fact, he's already starting to move back in as he knows that his team, they can continue to fight through this. There's no arena now, as he's just walking straight forward. You can tell that this man was doomed as he's showing no fear whatsoever, as no one just charges over straight towards FNG. FNG does get the cast out and another spear. The setup's there into Shashlo lockdown and no one will fall. He went too far, but now there's the extra core backup. Kuman zips across with a waveform, and VP will clean up too for the loss of their mid.
You could really think that they charged in as that Arena was used, that word was used as well, Maledict, and they thought, all right, we have Stampede, we can go in and out easily. But you have to respect the nuke potential on the side of Gambit. FN on that Pango is just killing them easily. So even though you're a Razor, you're tanky, you can't really rush in the way he did.
Now, we're still yet to really see the full potential of FN's damage output of the Swashbuckle, because he didn't go the Javelin, he's going for that straight Diffusal Blade rush, and he's pretty much got it. 200 gold away, Diffusal's going to be out. You said it, you know, already just with the Rolling Thunder capabilities, FN's been doing a lot in the fights. You add a Swashbuckle with the Diffusal effect, it hurts super badly. Anytime that FNG gets a Maledict down, FN's able to clip someone with a Swashbuckle, that's going to be the majority of your health pool gone over the duration of the fight, unless Solo's able to get in and offer those heals to sort of offset that damage that's been done. Mid lane, Kuman getting aggressive, zips over, looks towards excess Vampire. Vampire's got the movement speed though, he's into the fog, into the trees, he'll be fine. No one does find FNG on the side of things. He's got a cast to throw out. It'll buy space for Kuman to just zip past, though, and get immediately into the face of the Witch Doctors. Kuman, he's getting involved, and he's pushing in on this tier 2, 17 minutes in. This Morphling is not afraid to fight. He's 3-1 and 2, very active this match.
You don't need wards when Solo is so tanky on this Enchantress. He invested that 1,000 gold that he got in that first engagement, that triple kill, into 2 bracers and a wand. And now, all he's doing, I don't know if you notice his positioning, he's just in front. He's just baiting spells. They use 1 or 2 spells and they reveal themselves. Instantly after Morphling, it's easy for him to go in as he knows there's no lift. If there's no lift, they don't have control.
We'll see VP starting to slowly climb ahead in that lead, and you know, that Morph sitting at the top, it is very scary for Gambit. They're heroes. It's, yeah, there's still kill potential if they can somehow chain stun Kuman up. In terms of defensive plays, it is just the Stampede, the heal from Solo, no sort of hard dispel that his team can offer him to get him out of sort of some chain stun situation. But Gambit's got to find the opportunity to execute that, and it's not easy. For VP, as long as they can make sure that Kuman never gets sort of caught out alone, this Morph, it's a very free Morph game.
Also thinking about Rubik right now and how much he can do. Obviously, Nyx is almost on top of Network. They're neck and neck with the Morphling, right? He's doing fine, he's farming well, but he's not the preferred hero when it comes to this matchup, Morphling versus Nyx. Now, I'm looking at supports. You have Witch Doctor, you have Rubik. And XS Vampire, he's been amazing today, at least on this Rubik. He's done a lot in other series. Perhaps he can do as much in this game, because later on he offers a lot of control, especially versus the Morphling, and they're gonna need it.
Around mid, Gambit getting deep, no one in Rezo. They're hiding by the tower. In fact, Rezo's going to jump in and look to start things off. They'll turn towards him, drop down the arena. Shashlo's scared, though. Zayats is coming in with the wraparound. He does have the Doom available if he wants to drop it, but if FNG again just lays down the Maledict, the Death Lord, it kills Zayats off before he gets the chance to throw down the ultimate. Now FN's turn up, goes in with the Swashbuckle. Kuman's trying to get in there along with Resolution, gets the 2-man stun into the double edge. Dream turns towards Rezo. Vampire will fall. Kuman has been disarmed for now by Dream's Halberd. Solo finally gets clipped out of the game by the Swashbuckle. Dream staying on the target onto Rezo. Rezo's trying to run away. Dream, he needs a few more hits to really push him off the edge. Meanwhile, Kuman's just killing off the squishy heroes on the backline. Dream will finally be able to kill off that Centaur.
That's
a
a
2
great,
for 2,
yeah.
and it's great moves and great kills for Dream. Being able to get in, kill off that Centaur, not the easiest of kills, but it really is. Every single fight I'm seeing FNG, he's always getting the Maledicts off, and he's always getting some fantastic Death Wards down. This Witch Doctor is doing so much for them as a team, and the cast as well. It's very hard for VP to sort of fight into it the way that they want to.
No, I completely agree with you. I think the Switch Doctor did a lot more than, let's say, FN on the side of Gambit. However, that whole fight was so misdirected by Virtus.pro. The way they go in, they had vision on them. Centaur jumps in, he's on top of 2 heroes, but he doesn't pop that stomp instantly. Razor goes in, links Nyx, but Nyx just runs away because of the arena. So they already wasted 2 heroes. Centaur can't really accomplish much there. At the same time, Zayats is coming from the opposite direction, but he doesn't commit with that Doom onto the Witch Doctor. Because of that, he eats the cast, he eats the Maledict, and he just dies before that Doom is ever utilized.
I mean, I think you've got to... You're right. You know, this game, the Witch Doctor's doing so much, he would not feel bad dropping a Doom down on him. Shashlo gets nuked immediately. Tries to step near the pit. VP head out, kill him off. Roshan is down to half HP, so VP are going to want to stick around and make sure they finish this off. And without Shashlo, it's hard for Gambit to do anything about it, and they know they can't. They're going to back away, allow VP the space to finish this. So now VP's lineup, they've got an Aegis on that Morphling, and a Morphling that's incredibly close to having E-Blade done on top of the Manta style.
Once he gets that E-Blade, the Switch Doctor and Rubik, they're in a world of problems, and they won't feel as good as they did up to that point. If you're Gambit, you have to be feeling so bad about that objective that you just lost that big Roshan, because look, your team is so decent around the pit. You have Mars, you have Pango. Pango is arguably the best hero around the Rosh pit, and you just gave away that Rosh without even putting up a fight.
Rezo, he's looking for a bit of a solo kill here. They're popping the Stampede to get that extra bit of damage, but it's not enough. Kuman can't quite close the gap to help out for the kill. Down bottom, Zayats, he's been found alone as the 3 of Gambit move in. FNG, another Death Ward down. I sort of lost count of the times that FNG's been killing people with this Death Ward. It seems like he's really got it out for Zayats. There's been sort of like the 3rd or 4th time where Death Ward's just been dropped down on the Doom and knocked Zayats out of the game. As you see here on the KDA, 6-5-4. You know, FNG, he's hungry for blood this game.
Man,
you know?
he has resurrected Witch Doctor on his own, pretty much. This hero has been dead for a really long time, and FNG is making him work again. It's also the fact that you don't see a lot of Witch Doctors right now, maybe some in qualifiers, and in this tournament we have seen a couple, but overall the hero isn't the most popular support. And it does catch you off guard a little bit. Like when you don't play versus something, even in pubs, when's the last time you saw the Witch Doctor,
No,
right?
exactly, not
so
much.
you get caught off guard a little bit. Your positioning isn't as crisp, and the damage, once it hits, you're like, oh yeah, that's what Maledict does. It doesn't feel great.
No, not at all. Yeah, FNG doing some great movements, some great plays on a hero, as you say, that's not too easy to do so. Now we're seeing the big items out. E-Blade's done for Kuman. Basher is now there for FN, so he can himself look to try and trip up maybe even the Morph. You sort of clip him with a bash on the swashbuckle, and suddenly you're able to snowball the rest of the team on top of him. But this E-Blade Morph only is looking scary. It's 14, 23 minutes in. 1K lead for VP, but I really feel that with Gambit's lineup, they were hoping to have come out on top of the laning stage, and they didn't. It came out even, and if anything, maybe slightly ahead for VP. So it is scary for Gambit as this game goes on. They cannot allow any mistakes to happen, otherwise this Morph will just take over the game.
I think they might have hoped to get down on top of the laning stage because of this Morphling pick, but it wasn't really realistic considering what they were up against. Nyx maybe could get out ahead because he's versus Centaur, but Pango versus Razor and Mars in that lane, they got the... I think maybe they played the lanes the best that they could.
In the river. Quick pick here for VP. They were smoked up. Maybe we would have hoped for something bigger. They'll settle for excess vampires showing in the river. See what the rest of Gambit want to do. They are still in the neighborhood, and they could still potentially try and fight. Kuman, he is now going to start moving over to this top half of the map as he TPs over, pots the Manta, pushes out the lane. No one pots its BKB. The arena's been dropped, but with the BKB, of course, no one can simply step out of there. He'll start to force back Shashlo. FNG's going to try and go for the TP, escape, and he'll make it away from the two of them. FNG will live. Shashlo also goes for the TP out, and he'll also make it away. A great disengage from Gambit keeps their heroes safe.
Yeah, sometimes they're too eager to use the Stampede, sometimes they just don't want to use it. If Rezo uses that Stampede in this engagement, they got 2 kills at least.
I feel
they
like,
kill
yeah.
FNG and also they take down Mars, because he TP'd just as Doom was raising his hands to Doom him.
Absolutely, yeah, that extra sort of movement speed would have allowed Zayats to close the gap, but choosing to save it, maybe for more defensive maneuvers, they feel strong, they know that they'd rather just save Stampede for situations when their heroes are in trouble, as Kuman starting to show off the power that he's built up on this Morph this game, just bursts out Shashlo straight from the game. It didn't matter that they didn't kill him top, because they're killing him very easily in the mid. Now, that's happening to the Mars, a pretty beefy hero. You got to be worried if you're Gambit. If anyone steps a foot out of position, Kuman will nuke you out of the game with the Sea-Blade.
Yeah, it just feels bad if you're Mars, because you really want to be indestructible. You want to be that hero that's up front and just tanking, right? But you can't do that versus Kuman.
Up to the high ground they go. VP know they have this edge. It's got to the point where the Morph is very strong. No one's going to be dragged into the base. Pops the BKB. It's back and available. FNG drops the Death Ward, trying to kill off no one. Will bring him quite low, but they're just rolling over them. This Morph, he's got to this point. It's the point we were worried about. We said in the draft, this Morph Razor was always going to hit this timing. I mean, this, to be fair, is a little earlier than I thought it was. We're only 26 minutes in, and Kuman is just playing so perfectly aggressive. 8-1-3. I feel like VP with this lineup, they could have sort of just sat back, waited for extra items. They didn't need to do this, but they are just playing it brutally and really forcing this power of the Morphling as soon as they can. There's no hesitation. They know that they have the edge in the fights. They know how strong Kuman is, and they're not going to wait around and waste any time on it.
Once they got that Aegis, they just flew away pretty much. They can do whatever they want in this game, and they're doing that right now. You could see Gambit, they understand in what difficult situation they are, and they're thinking out of the box. Let's lift this Razor up onto the high ground. Let's try to kill him there. But no, you just lifted the Razor with BKB and Stampede behind him, and you just die.
No FNG. He's able to force up to the high ground. He will live this time. Zayats, he's managed to find the Doom opportunity onto FN, so he's forcing FN entirely away from the rest of the team. Shashlo does drop down the arena in an attempt to try and escape, but the Link and Yule's combos there for no one to start building up the damage. Shashlo trying to walk off. He goes into the Mars form, Kuman, to try and spear him to a tree. It doesn't connect, but it doesn't matter. He's got the nuke damage again. VP, they are just killing whoever they want right now. 3 dead on Gambit, and it's very hard to see how Gambit's lineup can slow this down now.
Aegis is out. They have 2 buybacks, and I believe XS Vampire, he has Doom. He stole it. So maybe with this play on Kuman, if he isn't shifting...
He's got to find Kuman. Tries, but instant Yules there. It's the 2-man Who's Dream got caught in this as well. He will turn and start a lifesteal off Resolution, but the Force and the Stampede gets Rezo back out to safety. Zayats has been caught in the base, but Solo no one. They're coming in to help out. Zayats has got the Scorched Earth movement speed to get out of there. Shashlo will fall. They'll head over to Dream. The lifesteal is dead. There's 4 gone on Gambit. VP, they'll take the mid-rack, and it's over. They know it. They cannot play their draft from this point onwards. VP, they'll take this game on win. 28 minutes in. Gambit, they just couldn't slow it down in time.
You know what? We said that there's a lot of drama between these 2 teams. There's a lot of spice, and that Gambit might put up a fight. But they played like 5 players that knew their draft sucked, or at least they felt like they were at a disadvantage.